Alright, so now that we've started our Android Studio project, we're going to go into a little bit about the Java basics. Alright, so I'm going to right click here on Team Code, go New, Java Class. This is how you're going to make any kind of class, including your op modes, any kind of hardware classes you're going to make, any kind of utilities. And we're going to call this Learning. And it's going to create this learning.java folder, okay? So next what I'm going to show you how to do is we're going to learn about data types. So first of all, in Java, comments are just two of these little lines, and then you can write whatever you want, doesn't matter what, and it won't do anything to the code. So if you have a line that's not working, just delete it or comment it out. I typically like to comment it out because it means that it's not gone. It's just not operational right now. Another good thing about this is if you do all of this, right? Then what if you want to just comment out this line? Well, we can do Control / on Windows or Command / on Mac, and it comments out that entire line. All right, so the basic data types, integers, and then we have floats. So I'll go integer int is equal to 0, and that's actually going to get mad at me because int is also a definition for an integer. So we're going to go int, I'll just go in. Alright, and then we're going to move it to the class just because it's going to get mad. Okay, so you can see we've made this integer right here. So basically what an integer is it's a non-floating point number. So basically if you've worked with decimals, it's going to be the first number without the decimal. So if I put 0.0, it's going to get mad because we've provided a double, but we actually want an integer. So this cast expression to integer, all it's going to do is be 0. So we can just replace it with 0. Also, you may have noticed that there's this semicolon here. That's the keyword in Java to show you the end of the line. So we have to always do that. Next, we're going to make a float value, and we're just going to call I guess, is equal to 0.0f, and then we'll do the semicolon as well. What this does is it allows us to have as many digits as you could possibly imagine to all be stored in this variable, and we're going to call this variable out for this instance. So then what we're going to do is for a double. A double is very important because it's able to store both integers as well as floating point numbers as the same variable type. So this is super handy because in FTC you can have a motor power of 0, you can have a motor power of 1, you can have a motor power of 0.975, you can really have anything. So a double is just a very easy data type to be able to manipulate different types of data. Integers would be if you're trying to index through a list and you want to find the first item, or you want to find the last item, or you want to find the 5th item. Alright, now we'll go to a string. String is simply just text. So we'll do the classic hello world. And there we go, we have our string. Pretty simple there. If you're trying to give telemetry, it's going to need to be as a string, in which case you're going to need to do string interpolation, as I will talk about later. But yeah, strings are pretty simple. And next, we will go to a list. So lists are where it gets interesting, because you can have a list, but as you can see, import it real quick, it's still going to get mad, because we can have a list of out4 is equal to list dot of, and then we can have as many elements as we want. So I'll do that real quick. And now you can see that it's going to get mad because it's a raw use of the parameterized class list. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to have a list, and then we're going to do this caret, and we're going to say it's a list of type string. So basically what that does is it says, hey, we're requiring list to include only strings. You cannot get anything from this list other than strings. So if I try and put integers in here, like if we try and put 0, it's going to get mad because it's talking about, hey, you've provided some random thing. We have no clue what you're talking about. So there you go. For maps, we'll make a map of, and let's do a integer and a string. And we'll import that class real quick. Out5 is equal to map dot of, and then we will see if it works like it's supposed to. There we go. Okay, so I made that map right there. Basically, a map is just a key value paired list. So basically, how you would access a list is you would do out4 dot, or you can do this, 0 is equal to hello. And it's going to somehow get mad because it's not able to do that right now. Out.get. Nope, it's mad. It's very mad now. Okay, that should work, but we'll see what happens later. Okay, well that's the way you would do it with a list. But for a map, you would do out5. We need a main. We need a void function. Out5. There we go. Okay, now it's gonna work. Dot get, and then we're gonna put in our key. So we'll just put a 1 there. And this is gonna return hello, because we're getting the key of 1. Then if we were to use that with the list, out4, and then we'll get 0, this is also going to return hello because it's the 0th index right here. 0, 1, 2, 3, as many as you want, but it'll always start at 0. This is going to get mad as well because it's getting ignored, but we really don't care about that because we're just showing it right now. But that's how you would get stuff from a list. Now we're going to show you what I just did real quick. So I made this void function, right? So the void keyword is what you do when you don't want to use the result. So, hey, this whatever function's doing, it can do by itself. We don't need it to give us any information back. However, if we want to say, hey, I want function to give me an integer, we'll do an int function, and you can see it has thrown an error on the last semicolon saying it missed a return statement. So now what we can do is we can go return, and we'll just go in, because that right here is equal to 0, as we said before. Another cool thing about this is if we hold Control on Windows or Command on Mac and click on it, it'll show us exactly where it's defined. We can do that the opposite way. It'll show us where it is. That's super handy when you get lost in your code and you're just trying to find something. So next what we're going to do is, alright, let's say our function, we want to return a specific value. So let's say we want to return int times a number. So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, we're going to have a double, a number, and then we're defining, hey, we got a number here. We're going to multiply int with a number. And as you can see, we have an error here saying we've provided a double, which basically this is just saying, hey, in is an integer, a number is a double, we're going to result double because, hey, it could be anything from 0 to 1 in any capacity. So what we're going to do instead, here we're going to return it as a double. There we go, the error went away. Now, we would call this in function of 0.6, let's say that. And as you can see, it's getting mad. So what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna make another function, a void function 2, and then we'll copy this. We're just gonna call this function. Right here. Okay, and you can see we have function calling this parameter of 0.6, which what this is going to do, it's going to return in, which is 0 times 0.6, which is going to return 0. So there we go. That's how you use functions. These can be amazing for if you're trying to do certain things with your motors. For instance, if you want to initialize every single motor at the same time, or if you want to initialize everything in your robot at the same time. You could call a function and then just use that function anywhere else. All right, and that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching.